I do want to ask you first off about the California Public Utilities Commission. It was one of the utilities that hadn't yet managed to issue approval. Do you get fined now, or how did you manage to complete the merger without that?
Thanks, Bonnie. Thanks for having me. Yes, what a day this is. I mean, it's just been such a long time in coming. We're delighted to finally have been able to close this transaction. To your question, yes, we've received a preliminary indication of approval from the California PUC last month. And, there's a process that they have there. We don't know how long it will take, but it will take some weeks to work through and see that final approval. I plan to work with them, to meet with them, and come to an arrangement, and hopefully we'll see that approval very soon. We looked at this circumstance and believed that it's the time to close the transaction is now, with 20 months of review and every federal level approval and settlement with defeating the states in court and then settling with them against any appeal ambitions that they had. We now have every approval in place and a preliminary approval from the California PUC. And with the uncertainty in the financial markets and a consortium of banks ready right now to provide $27 billion to us today in financing to complete this transaction, we felt the most prudent decision from a risk management standpoint was to get the transaction completed. So we did it. We're really excited about it. And to your point, yes, the California PUC is pending, and we intend to work very closely with them.
And indeed, it was a big group of banks that did provide that funding. And Mike, you announced today a mega high-grade bond sale in order to sort of refinance, particularly that bridge loan that needs to be refinanced in 364 days. Curious as to the timing. Were you pressured by the banks, or could you have waited until conditions eased a little bit? It is pretty awkwardly timed, you have to say.
Well, I would say it's coincidental. We've been watching the markets over the past few days and seeing an improving condition for us to go to the market with this investment grade offer. And, today looked like the right day. The last couple of days, obviously, we were in the process of taking down the bridge, and we had the merger news that made it the last couple of days the wrong time to be in the market. So we're coming out today, with that offer, and I'm delighted about it. It's the first investment grade offering in the history of this company, and we're pleased that on how the agencies are rating us and the strength of this business plan, and it does look like the markets are improving. So we intend to market the offer today and hopefully get it priced tomorrow.
Mike, good morning. It's Guy in London. How's the network holding up? We're all using your services aggressively at this point. Clearly, everybody is doing things differently. And I'm wondering what you're seeing in terms of demand and strain on the network as a result.
The network is holding up fantastically. And, just what extraordinary times we find ourselves in. We're certainly finding that in this moment, unprecedented moment of social distancing, the technology that can bring us together while we're physically distant is more important than ever. And, customers are relying on it. Our service is more essential than ever. Overall, the network's performing very, very well. Interestingly enough, data traffic itself is only up marginally. We have no material increase in congestion whatsoever, because while traffic is up, it's also more spread out, both in terms of space and time. It's shifted a little bit more suburban. It's less concentrated in urban cores right now, and it's more spread out throughout the day. So traffic's up, but congestion on the network really isn't up in any material way. Calling is up. People are making longer calls. They're doing a lot more messaging. And one thing's for sure, they're reaffirming for themselves just how important this service really is. And we don't know what kind of circumstances are going to emerge after this crisis abates, but one thing, seems clear. Some people will be on tighter budgets and potentially tougher economic circumstances. And our company will be very well positioned to stand up for consumers in that kind of an environment, with the right kinds of offers.
Yeah, you've already dropped prices. You're waiving some fees as well, Mike, which is good to see at this point. As you say, people are already in financial stress. Look, what do you expect to see in terms of customers? Do you think you are going to see more stressed customers? Do you think you are going to see customers sort of trading down in terms of what they're expecting? Because clearly you've got a big ramp up happening right now, not only on the bond market side, but also on the 5G side as well. So you're going to be spending a lot of money, and I'm just kind of wondering how consumers are going to be spending their money as they go through this process.
Well, I know that they're going to prioritize our category. It's certainly been reaffirmed in consumers' lives how important what we offer is. So that seems clear. But within the category, they're going to want two things. They're going to want a great network, and they're going to want a great value. And I think they're going to want a great value more than ever if economic circumstances are as we expect. This company has the opportunity to do something no company ever has been able to offer in this category before, which is to simultaneously give you both the best value and the best offer.